Permit me to present you with the most sensational find since that of Tutankhamun.
This is very sporting of you. May I ask why?
We Egyptians are not permitted to dig up our ancient dead. Only foreign museums.
What's this?
Part of the funerary equipment of the Princess Ankhsenamun, daughter of Amenophis the Magnificent.
Yes, it's her name.
I found that not 100 yards from where we are.
You mean you think her tomb is there?
I will show you where to dig.
I'm sure it's very good of you, Mr. I didn't catch your name.
Ardeth Bey.
Fans of Universal's monster movies will recognise many of the names in the credits of The Mummy. For starters, there's obviously Boris Karloff, a huge hit a year earlier as Frankenstein's monster, now playing the title character and billed on many of The Mummy's posters as simply Karloff, the Uncanny. Then there are returning actors David Manners and Edward Van Sloan, both previously seen in Dracula. Plus, making his directorial debut is Drac's former cinematographer, Karl Freund. In other words, even as early as December 1932, when The Mummy was released, a pattern was forming. Universal knew that in the midst of the Great Depression, fantastic tales of myth and mystery were perfect escapism, and it was a no-brainer to keep making them, often with the same talent. Even the plot of The Mummy isn't a million miles away from Dracula, an ancient, shadowy man, undead, infatuated with a face from his past.
Death to that boy for whom love is creeping into your heart. Love that would keep you from myself. Love that might bring sickness and even death to you.
Unlike those others, though, The Mummy also has one foot in real events. 10 years earlier, in fact in 1922, when the film's story begins, the West had become fascinated by the discovery of Tutankhamun's nearly intact tomb in the Valley of the Kings, renewing public interest in ancient Egypt and a supposed curse of the pharaohs. What also makes The Mummy different to its predecessors is its tone, gently creepy rather than dark and shocking, with a love story very much its driving force.
When you were kneeling beside my bed, a veil came over my eyes. Darkness.
Your last memory is of me in the hour of your death as I knelt by your bed 3,700 years ago.
It's also, of course, unlike Frankenstein and Dracula, not based on a classic novel. Then there's the music, the first Universal horror picture to feature any. Combine that with a groundbreaking use of back projection and a fascinating flashback sequence, and The Mummy definitely represents a leap forward, despite a low budget and quick turnaround. But anchoring it all is the by now familiar, rigid face and rich baritone of Karloff. He's not even playing a mummy that much, although advertisers knew that it was the image of him as one that would somewhat erroneously sell the movie. I guess it didn't help that Jack Pierce's mummy makeup took 8 hours to apply. Hence Karloff spends more time masquerading as eerie fez-wearing local Ardeth Bey than he does bandage-bound Imhotep.
Is anything the matter?
Egyptians never actually believed mummies might come back to life. That's some major dramatic licence in a film that now hardly feels culturally sensitive. In fact, if anyone believes in reincarnation, then it's Hollywood. Just 8 years later, The Mummy was reborn as The Mummy's Hand, a new version of the tale that spun off 3 proper sequels, plus an Abbott and Costello send-up. Plus, of course, Brendan Fraser and Tom Cruise's versions were waiting in the wings. Proof that Imhotep, the bad boy high priest of ancient Egypt, will never really die.